So the first thing I want to go over is just a review, right? So this is just body paragraph basics. So this applies to all types of essays no matter what. So when you go to 8th grade and you're writing literary essay again, you're going to remember to do this. When you're writing argumentative essay, you're going to do this. And I think you guys do like a research paper in 8th grade. So this is just your body paragraph basics, right? So the first thing is each body paragraph has to contain a topic sentence, right? So basically your topic sentence is your reason, all right? So that's done for you. And I always say that the best thing about essay writing is the fact that there's a set structure. All right? Overview. So each paragraph has to have a topic sentence, right? You have to use transitions when you're moving not only from like one paragraph to another paragraph, but when you're going from one piece of evidence to another piece of evidence. And I gave you in your argument of essay folder, I believe I gave you, it was like a list of transitions. And if you don't have it, I will make copies and I'll put it in there. But you have to use that. So you're at the point in 7th grade, like, you should not using transitions like first, second, thirdly, finally. You should not be using those. So there's two options. So one option is to use more sophisticated transitional words, such as along with, furthermore, besides, as well as. Or your second option, which I'm going to do small groups for, is you can use, instead of transitional words, you can use transitional phrases between each body paragraph, which makes your writing a lot better. And I'll teach that to you. So the third thing is your evidence is explained thoroughly. So make sure you have plenty of evidence to support your topic sentence, or in other words, your reason. And then the last thing is, which I don't know if you were ever taught, is each body paragraph has to have a clincher or a closing sentence that lets the reader know, like, okay, I'm done explaining this reason. I'm about ready to tell you my next reason. All right? So let's kind of like dissect this. So it starts off with, first of all, so this is my model of screen time should be limited for kids. So it starts off with, first of all, an overabundance of screen time leads to poor health in children. So basically, all I did is I started off with a transition, first of all right? And then this is my reason. So that's your topic sentence. Then I go on to my evidence, and I thoroughly explain my evidence. So it says, obesity is just one of these health issues. According to the Center for Disease and Control Prevention, 1 in 5 school-age children are obese. And if you notice right here, I'm putting down, this is what you call in-text citation. I put down where I got that fact from. If you don't, number one, you have to paraphrase, and number two, you have to make sure after you paraphrase that you give props to the person you got that information from. Yes?
So one of them you just wrote Paula.
So the way that it works is this, and Mrs. First is going to teach you this on Monday. If sometimes there are articles where it's not written by like an author, it's written by like this was written by the Mayo Clinic, right? So I had to just put Mayo Clinic on there. But if it's written by an author and the author has a last name, you put the author's last name as your citation, right? So this is what you call, and you'll have to know this in high school, it's what you call MLA. There's 2 ways to cite, but MLA is the main one that you use in language arts, okay? So then it goes on, and if you notice, I also did, how are children getting this way? What is that called? What kind of question? Yeah. So this is like a rhetorical question. So this is something you definitely want to use, but don't, do me a favor, do not overuse it, right? Like too much of something is not good, all right? So how are children getting this way? Too much screen time. When children are staring at screens, this means they are inactive. The time that could be spent riding bikes, playing football, or kicking a soccer ball around is spent playing video games. The lack of movement does not allow the body to burn calories, which creates obese children. So this was totally paraphrased. Kyle, can you stop moving around? Stop. So I totally paraphrased this, right? So because I paraphrased it, the author of the article, his last name was like Paula. That's the dude's last name, right? All right. So, and if you notice, pay attention. The way the in-text citation works is this. You put, like, this is the end of the sentence. You put a parentheses, the author's last name, parentheses, and then a period. You did this in literary essay, but some of you were not punctuating it correctly. So because it's the second time around, I'm really going to be scoring you severely on whether or not you're punctuating correctly. So then, like, I'm adding another evidence, so I'm using a transition. So it says, additionally, children have the habit of snacking while staring at their screens. They are constantly seeing ads that encourage them to eat unhealthy foods, such as potato chips and drink empty-calorie soft drinks that often become favorite snack foods. Once again, this came from the same person, and I paraphrase it, so I have to give him credits. Not exercising and snacking on high-calorie foods equal obese children. So now I'm done talking about obesity, right? So now I'm on to my next example of how I believe it was bad health. So then I have to use a transition right here. So I said, besides causing obesity, too much screen time can result in digital eye strain. So this is my second example. So what a lot of you guys are doing is you have examples, but in your graphic organizer, you're not really explaining them. So you have to make sure that when you go to draft, that you explain it. So it says, which can include burny, itchy, or tired eyes, right? So now it says, Hamid B. Larry, MD, an ophthalmologist at Summit Medical Group, has witnessed a dramatic increase in children suffering from computer vision syndrome or digital eye strain over the past decade. So this came from a different, can you stop with the water bottle, please? It's very distracting. So this came from a second source. So this dude's name was like Larry, right? So once again, I did parentheses, I did last name, parentheses, period. So now I'm talking about a third example, right? So besides the obesity, the digital eye strain, so now I'm talking about like how like it has poor posture issues. So I use a transition here. Equally important are posture issues that develop due to overabundant screen time. Dr. Peter O'Tone, a chiropractor from New Jersey, argues that poor posture from computer and tablet usage has become epidemic. The slouched posture students often use when at a computer workstation increases pressure on the spinal muscles, ligaments, nerves, and discs. This increases the susceptibility for neck pain, back pain, and headache. Once again, I totally paraphrase that. I'm not plagiarizing. So look how I'm just kind of like introducing the quote. So I already know that I'm talking about this guy, this Dr. Peter O'Tone. So I'm just putting down like what he said. I have noticed a large increase in teen and preteen kids with these complaints enter my office over the past several years, O'Tone said. And once again, I'm putting where I got that quote from. He reports also seeing a lot of cases of tech snack from extensive mobile phone usage. Okay, so this is what I mean right here. This is what I mean by a clincher. So you can't just like end your sentence. You have to have some kind of closing sentence. So I did it in two ways. I just said it is quite obvious due to the amount of screen time children's health is suffering. And then I used a rhetorical question. Do you really want to be the cause of this distress? So you can, but if I use a rhetorical question in this ending of this body paragraph, would I want to use it again in my next body paragraph? No, because then you're doing the same thing again. That just gets repetitive. So this is just a total review, a reminder, because you did persuasive essay last year, you did literary essay last year, you did literary essay this year. So this is a reminder of what your structure should look like. What questions do you have about this? And this is your basic structure. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pulling a lot of small groups, and I'm going to show you, like, you know what? You don't always need to use these transitions. There's more sophisticated ways to go from one reason to another. All right? Okay. So the next thing